Hello, everyone. This is Thick Skin on Sports. This is Steven Skinner. This is March 19th, 2020. Please like, subscribe, question, comment below. I am running solo today. My boys Anthony and Tony's not going to be able to be here this week. We are in a temporary location due to unfortunate circumstances. We will be back in the main studio, bigger and better next time. I want to get into we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, things like that. Thick Skin on Sports. I want to get into NFL free agency because let's be honest, this coronavirus is hitting hard with everybody. All the sports world is shut down. So really, the big thing with the free agency going on starting Wednesday at 4 o'clock. I want to dive right into that and starting with the Browns. I'm a huge Browns fan, of course, a big Baker Mayfield fan. I want to talk about some of the key features I think that the Browns will need going forward, and I think overall grade. Starting with Jack Conklin, we did need a tackle, and of course we're going to look for another tackle. I believe in the top 10 pick the draft. Hopefully they still have it. But Jack Conklin is an All-Pro his first year. He has slid down a little bit the last couple of years, but he's only been in the league, I believe, for 4 years. I think he's doing a tremendous job. I think that's what we need going forward. Is definitely protecting Mayfield because we were one of the worst in the league last year. Um, Another is let's when I first thought about this pickup, I'm thinking of David Njoku, and really Kevin Stefanski likes the two tight end setup. When we signed Austin Hooper, which is a two-time Pro Bowler. I think he amassed 787 yards last year, 75 receptions, 6 touchdowns, I believe. Huge pickup. I dived right in. I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be good for us. But the Browns have a lot to do still. They signed a safety, Carl Joseph, which for a 1 year deal. He hasn't really panned up as a 14th overall selection in 2016 in the first round. It's yet to be determined, but maybe he may like this new place that he is in Cleveland. Um, and then when we got Case Keenum, 3 years, 18 million. If you really dive right, he had a good year 1 year, I believe, with the Minnesota Vikings, and he threw for 22 touchdowns, 3,700 yards, I believe. I think it's a great pickup. We need a mentor to help Baker Mayfield out, and if he does happen to get hurt, which I hope not, knock on wood, but I think it's a tremendous pickup and overall grade for the Browns. I believe is a B plus. I think we could do better. I think we need to get another safety because we've pretty much gotten rid of everybody. Only thing we really have is Sheldrick Redwine from I think it's a fifth round draft pick a few years ago. Overall we're doing really well. I think we're winning the free agency overall with the holes that we need to fill. I know we signed B.J. Goodson, I think, from Green Bay. It's kind of a laugher. I'm sure Anthony and Tony would dive more into that too, but they're not here. But overall, I think for the Browns specifically, they've done excellent, and they need to continue to do well in the free agency and the draft. And as far as the Bengals go, obviously I'm not a Bengals fan. They never do anything in free agency over the last few years. They signed DJ Reader, which is a defensive tackle. He does block the holes very well. Um, I don't know a whole lot about him, but he does. He is a good defensive tackle overall. I think it's a big pickup for the Bengals, and they really need to go further. But so far, I'm not even going to grade them because they haven't done anything per se. They just need to keep going with it. And and as far as I'll go back to the Browns real quick. Another person, and I keep talking about this guy, and it's Clinton Dix from Chicago. I kept saying he's from the Bengals, but he's not. My bad. Things happen, but Clinton Dix would help out too. Now, obviously, you have Carl Joseph, but you need another safety, and maybe them two could. There's different things and schemes that you could do to fit them both in. Uh, Other free agency news I do want to talk about um, is DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona. This might have been bigger than the Odell Beckham Jr. I know I love the OBJ, but DeAndre has shown more consistency throughout the years. He doesn't get hurt. He plays in every game. And he averages and amasses his, 80, 90 receptions for, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 yards every year. He's an all-pro wide receiver, bar none. Traded him for, I believe, a fourth round and future second round for David Johnson. Now, David Johnson, let's be honest, people, David Johnson only had one good year of like 1,300 yards. Okay, and then he signed his $21 million deal, I believe, for $3 million. Didn't amount to nothing. And this is a terrible trade, I think, and it may be one of the worst trades in the world, or ever to happen in NFL free agency. And if you look at Twitter, social media, things like that, you will see that everybody's shocked to see things like that, to see this trade particularly, and we will definitely see how this trade pans out. And I guarantee you, with Larry Fitzgerald, future Hall of Famer, yes, he's on his downward spiral in those last few years, but he's still physically fit, and he can still run an excellent route, and he still has excellent hands. So Arizona, look out with Kyler Murray. Tremendous job. Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. They should do well this year. I believe 10-6. They may win the division. I don't know. And the other one is Stephon Diggs. Now let me tell you something here. This is another one. Now Stephon Diggs, he's had problems and issues with Minnesota last year. I don't know why. He still amassed 1,300 yards receiving, 1,100 yards receiving with Adam Thielen, which could be the best 1-2 combination in the NFL. Kirk Cousins, I don't think he's the great. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback, top 15. But there was just a lot of confusion with what happened last year with everybody, even though they went to the playoffs. Now, Stephon Diggs was a big pickup for the Bills. I think they're going the right direction. They made the playoffs last year. Well, we can see if they win it again. And this is Thick Skin on Sports. This is Steven. Like I said, Tony and Anthony are not going to be able with me this week. Like I said, unfortunate circumstances happened in the studio, so we're fixing it temporary. Like I said, it's going to be bigger and better. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all kinds. I'm always missing something, but we're on every single social media. Thick Skin on Sports. Please like, question, comment below. Just check us out. Subscribe, please. Let's talk about Tom Brady to the Bucs. I know I probably even shouldn't talk about it because you've already heard this for the last 48 hours, 72 hours that he's going to the Bucs. I just want to say one thing real quick. I thought it was going to be the Chargers. I've always said it was the Chargers. Now, it did come down to that, I believe, because he is a California kid. But to the Bucs, with Godwin, Mike Evans, both amassing 1,000 yards, both Pro Bowlers. You got an excellent running back. Defense is looking good. And then you got the 6-time Super Bowl winner, 4-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time NFL MVP, 41 playoffs, 30 wins, I believe, in the playoffs. I mean, you can't beat that. It's the most all time. Yes, he's 42 years old. I think he has 2 or 3 good years left, and he's still going to be a Pro Bowler. And I think Tampa Bay is somebody to look for next year. Now, of course, I would say, the Browns and everything, but they got to show me something first. But definitely, I see Tampa Bay making a huge run next year into the playoffs. Now, I don't think it's going to go very far in the first year with Tom Brady, but you never know with Tom Brady. He's a winner, and he's a proven winner. And overall, I believe they will make the first round of the playoffs. I think it won't even be in the wild card. I think they'll have a bye in the first round. Now, I believe they are getting 2 more playoff teams this coming year, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, Tampa Bay looks really strong with Tom Brady, and I absolutely 100% give it an A+ just on that trade or that free agency signing alone. Especially with Godwin and Mike Evans in the running back. And who's winning this free agency so far? I'm not trying to be biased, but we already know with all the signings that the Browns have done in filling holes, I would give them the lead and the edge over it. The Cowboys, they didn't sign Dak. They're they haven't done anything to help their team out. The Bucs obviously are up there. The Bills, I think, have done an excellent job, and obviously the Cardinals. The Cardinals those are my main ones that's done excellent this year as far as signings and filling holes and making their team better overall. Now, I was scared with the Browns because Andrew Berry, he was there before and didn't do jack crap, but he's doing well now. I think that's with Kevin Stefanski, and finally ownership, the Haslam's finally wanting to go out there and spend money and making this team grow and succeed into the playoffs, hopefully next year or this season. Um, and finally, well, I have two more segments left. This is Thick Skin on Sports. I'm Steven. Please like, question, subscribe below. This is kind of a quick segment today since I'm by myself. It's always nice to have other people around you to talk and debate sports, but I digress. Two more segments here. The AFC North. Now, this is my division I always love, with the Browns, the Bengals, Pittsburgh, and Ravens. I'm sure a lot of people think out there I'm going to pick the Browns, but no, I'm not going to this time because last year I did. I think it's going to be the Ravens again. They have too much talent. Pittsburgh can slide up there too with the talent they always have. They never have any money in the free agency at all, but they always seem to win games, especially with Mike Tomlin, a future Hall of Fame coach in my eyes. I believe it's the Ravens, and unfortunately for me I don't like to say that, but I think even Pittsburgh might slide up to the number 2 spot, and Cleveland might be third again. Now, with that being said, I think there are 2 more playoff teams this coming year. I think the Browns do slip into the playoffs. I think it's going to be in a wild card spot. There's just too many question marks with this team, with all their personalities, with Austin Hooper just signing the biggest contract in tight end history in the NFL. I think it's $41 million. He's averaging $11 million a year. It's pretty good. But I don't know if he deserves that amount of money when you got all these other tight ends out there, but it'll quickly be passed by someone else. I'd give it another year or two. But if we could stay together, we could win this division. But I honestly see this as a wild card spot for Cleveland, and I think Baltimore will run away with it again. And I believe that Steelers still have a chance. They always have a chance. You can never count them out. As much as I don't like them, I'm just being honest. And, AFC North is always tough. It's one of the toughest, if not the toughest, division in the NFL, period. But who's to say it's going to be like that next year? But I definitely see Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh all vying for that number 1 spot, depending on who they get in the draft and free agency the rest of the way out. This last segment, I don't really like talking about the Patriots because they reminded me of the team up north, and obviously I'm a Ohio State fan. I just quick the possible Tom Brady replacements. Now, if I'm looking at this, and I would think the overall would be Jacoby Brissett, because Indianapolis, when he was with Indianapolis last year, he was a pretty good quarterback, and he was a pretty good quarterback the year before. I think looking at all these quarterbacks in the draft, the way Bill Belichick doesn't like to spend a lot of money because he is the general manager, but he always builds them up and makes it happen. You could see Jake Fromm getting picked up in the late first round, or they could try to trade up. Now, I think that overall, Jarrett Stidham could replace. He may give Stidham a chance, but I doubt it because Stidham he wasn't that great of a quarterback in Auburn anyway, and he didn't really he had some time to roll with Brady and learn from Brady as a mentor. I just don't think he's going to cut it out. I think you're going to see Jake Fromm either get drafted or they're going to trade for Jacoby Brissett. You do have Andy Dalton out there as a trade bait, but I just don't see him fitting in too well with the Patriots. He could. I mean, anytime you go with Bill Belichick, he could develop you as I mean, don't get me wrong. Andy Dalton is a Pro Bowl. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's led the Bengals to the playoffs. Never won one, but he still led them to the playoffs. If you surround him with good talent, such as receivers, maybe another good receiver, you have an excellent defense in the Patriots. I think he could go. I think he's kind of a sleeper at this point. And I'm thinking of Josh Rosen. Never has mounted to anything, but he really hasn't had that much for luck, especially when he was drafted by Arizona. then gets traded after the first year. Now, yeah, he's a big quarterback. He's shown some numbers in college, but he hasn't shown anything in NFL. And like I said, he has been unlucky with that. He's also a dark horse, kind of sleeper type. Now, I think he'd be the last person that they would want. Now, you do have Jameis Winston, but let's face it, he puts up 5,000 yards, but he throws 30 INTs. Can't have that in the NFL, and you're not going to win games. And they didn't win much games to get in the playoffs last year. That's why Bruce Arians and them were smart. Go after Tom Brady. Very good, Bruce. I wish Browns would have had him before Freddie Kitchens, honestly, but that didn't pan out that way. But overall, I think they'll end up drafting Jake Fromm because it would be on a rookie contract. They wouldn't have to spend hardly any money, and they'll be drafting later in the upper I think 20s. I think they're always up in the 20s, so that'd be a great steal for them. But this is the NFL free agency special on March 19th, 2020. This is Thick Skin on Sports. I'm Steven. This is a temporary location right now. Please like, comment, subscribe, questions, anything below. We love having you guys watch us. We are very grateful. And for everybody out there, stay safe. I know you hear that a lot, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. We will have a show next week. Hopefully it's 3 of us, 2 of us. Who knows? If not, we'll still have it. But I'm Steven, and you guys have a good weekend.